Yeah.
Eat a dick.
Dude, it was so good.
That's what I hear. Everyone who's already seen it says it's great. The
Yeah,
earliest I
no.
can go see it, I think now is Sunday morning
I just farted. It was
because of
so
the
bad.
pre-releases. You just excellent, excellent. But yeah, no, the pre-releases are throwing a big old wrench because I run the overnights and then the Saturday one and Saturday two. So
You,
the earliest I can go is Sunday.
you could have gone today.
Because I was going to, but the internet was all screwed up all day today.
Right.
Like we had Cox here, and they're our internet provider, and they like rewired all of the cables in the house and stuff, and they were like out on the poles, and they're like, we bought a new router because our other router was going out, and they couldn't make the new router work, so now we're using the shitty one that's going out again, and it's a giant nightmare. So, but since they've come out and rewired everything and worked on stuff, the shitty router is not as shitty as usual. So I'll take it. But that means that the wife was unable to get away from her desk until like 6:30, which is super, super, super late for her. So, but anyway, this is not a podcast about real life. This is about imaginary
Yes, it
wizard
is.
battles. Imaginary wizard battles. Magic the
AKA
Gathering.
real life.
This is episode 89. Yes, dyslexia. Suck it. Suck it. Of Two Trolls and a Brew After Hours. Subtitle this week: Hod. Hod?
I don't.
Hod? Hod?
I mean, that's what it says, but why?
Because it's hour of
Oh, right.
thingy. That's the abbreviation.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it is upon us.
yeah, that makes sense.
Devastation. Devastation. Anyway, I'm your lovable Samus, and he is your grumpy Travis. And we are recording at an awkward hour because I'm preparing for the overnight slash like 72-hour arena shift with the
And
pre-releases.
and I forgot that it was Thursday.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a factor as well. I'm not gonna lie, but like I said, my internet has been down basically all day, so it's not like we could record it at our normal time anyway, because there was no internet. Yay! So let's just jump right into it. Troll cards: Insurrection and
Yes.
Imaginary Threats. What is Insurrection, my friend?
Insurrection. It cost 8 mana. 5
Better like
generic and 3 red.
better lick your anus for that much mana.
Well, it's in Baborgamos, so I can afford it.
Okay,
Um. By the way, you might hear fireworks because my window's open,
that's fine. That's
and
fine.
that's what the fan noise is too. A fan.
Okay.
Um. So yeah. Anyways, I was playing Baborgamos, and I actually won a game in a way that didn't involve throwing lands at people. Uh,
Okay. Was it this insurrection card?
it is kind of.
Kind of.
Um, so I had 9 mana open, and Xenagos on the field, so I added 2 more mana, and
Okay.
then I spent all the mana to play Insurrection, knowing full well that my opponent had mana leak on an Isochron Scepter. So I was
Okay.
like, no, I need this 3 mana. Uh, Played Insurrection, stole all my opponent's things, which happened to include a um, what was it? A treasure mage with Sword of Feast and Famine on it, and a Shaman of the Forgotten Ways.
So it sounds like this insurrection steals all the cards.
Yeah, so Insurrection, it it's basically an act of treason for all creatures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then so obviously I took all of the stuff, was completely tapped out. I swung at the dude who had the counter spells, just because, screw him, he's playing counter spells. And then I untapped all of my things, or I untapped all of my lands with this sort of Feast and Famine on it.
Does it give
Do you
you?
remember?
Do you take control of the Sword of Feast and Famine?
It's still equipped to the creature.
But does it give the creature the ability, or does it have the ability? Now I gotta look at the sword.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it doesn't, then we played it wrong and everybody died for no reason.
Let's see. Feast and Famine. So, equipped creature gets +2/+2 in protection from black and green. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card, and you untap all your lands you control. So, that's because it would be you would probably be referencing the owner of the Sword of Feast and Famine, or its controller. Excuse me, its controller.
Right.
So, whoever you stole it from was still his controller. So probably he should have untapped all of his lands.
Yep. So we played it wrong. Oh well, not the point. Point was, after I attacked, I untapped all my lands. Everybody was like, yeah, I guess that works. And then I activated Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. Which, do you remember what that one is?
Is that the one that sets everyone's life total to the number of creatures they have?
Yeah.
So you set everyone's life total to 0 because you stole everyone's permanents or everyone's creatures?
Yep.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, I played with Shaman of the Forgotten Ways a little bit when he was in Standard, but mostly as an efficient way to make 2 mana, I think, of any color, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Hello, Brando. Welcome to the show. So yeah, I don't know. Sounds like it was a lot of fun. Some of those cards though, crazy. If you can get up to 7 or 9 mana, you should be able to cast some pretty game-ending spells right there. My card this week is actually a new one from Devastation, or Hours of D, or Odd. So it is a blue, and 2 generic for an instant. Creatures target opponent controls attack this turn if able. During that player's next untap step, creatures he or she controls do not untap, and it cycles for 2. These kind of effects are really very powerful. Forcing your opponent's creatures to attack and keeping them tapped is very good. So if you can't weather the storm of an attack, you can at least lock down the things that already attacked or whatever. And of course, you can always just cycle it away. I think this is probably going to be there'll be some amount of these in semi-aggressive blue decks, or any blue deck that wants to be tempo-y, that, but has a hard time punching through the last few points of damage. So you go ahead, hit me for 7, whatever, I'm gonna hit you back to dead. So I don't know. I think this could be a card. It could also be a card in the blue-white vehicles deck. I don't know. So this is one that I'm keeping my eye on. I think it could be really cool. But also in multiplayer games, it doesn't say who you have to attack. So if you're playing Commander, maybe this is a card that makes it there to force somebody to tap out, and they could attack whoever they want. I know that 5 mana Gideon has kind of a similar esque effect where the opponent has to attack it. So,
right.
I don't know, kind of cool. Oh, so let's see. Did you get a draft this week?
Yes.
I'm super jealous.
Well, it was a chaos draft, and it was on Monday, I played for one round and then I stopped because I was having a crappy day on Monday.
I heard. We could get into that a little bit later if you want. But there's enough magic. I don't think we have to get into the troubles and tribulations of our Travis right now.
Right.
Um, but so this Friday, for last Friday, I should say, we're starting to do something a little different at the arena, where we're going to start doing themed, standard or whatever, some sort of themed constructed event. Probably like every, I don't know, like every 7th or 8th. Like basically the idea is to do one every other month, give or take. So basically you build your deck around some sort of theme, right? And last week's theme, being so close to the 4th of July, our shop owner decided he wanted to do red, white, and blue. So your deck had to be split, at least 10 red cards, 10 white cards, 10 blue cards, and each card in your deck could only count for one color. So gold cards, they were either whatever one half of their cards were, right? So I got pretty excited about it actually around like 4 o'clock on Friday. And I sat down and started brewing. I love these kind of challenges, right? And I know a lot of the other players like them too. Especially like newer players that maybe don't have a bunch of like the best cards. So they can it narrows things down in a way that makes it a little bit more favorable for everybody. So I get there and 4 people, including myself, had built a red, white, and blue deck for Friday Night Magic. So to have the Friday Night Magic for standard to fire, constructed to fire, we elected to remove the restriction, and I tried to audible into the draft because once we took the restrictions off, I figured people would be jumping in pretty quickly. Well, it turns out the guy who actually like fills out the paperwork basically for the event every Friday did not hear me say I'd like to draft instead because this is not happening. So I sit down and I start setting up the drafters, and I'm like, what table am I at? He's like, you're playing standard. You need to go play your standard match. And I'm like, what? He's like, go play your standard match. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I have a good standard deck. And I walked over, and I didn't. The only standard deck I had that didn't have proxies in it at the time was the red, white, and blue deck.
Of course.
So I immediately sat down and played Hunter, who was the individual I beat at the PPT to make top 8, and proceeded to just get completely wrecked by his good standard legal deck, right, as you do. And then I played the other 2 people who actually had red, white, and blue decks, which was a lot of fun to actually play against people with the theme and not somebody who just like didn't want to.
Right.
So, but I don't know, the games that people were actually played in the colors were a lot of fun. So I don't know. It did get a lot of people like kind of antsy to try another theme. So I told people that I think the next one I want to do is like either odds or evens. So you can either pick odds or evens when you build your deck, and all of the non-land cards in your deck have to be either that odd or that even.
Okay.
I figured that would be kind of a good one. We also talked about doing singleton. So you can only have one of anything besides basic lands in your deck. Kind of like Commander is set up. So those are just a couple we threw around, which honestly would get us to like the middle of October. So hopefully I can figure out some more before then. But I don't know. I think this kind of stuff is fun, but you can't do it too often because people get burnt out on that kind of stuff real quick. So I didn't get a draft. I wanted to. It looked like a lot of fun. Uh, the tables were kind of weird. I think Remington took. I think we had 4 people that all had the same record at 3-1, and a bunch of people with like virtual ties with tiebreakers, basically to like the third tiebreaker. So it was a really interesting draft. I would have liked to have been in there. So boo hoo, boo hoo. Speaking of boo hoo, um, Modern has come once again.
Woohoo!
I don't know. I've never cared for Modern as a format.
I
I
love
know
it.
it's more of a you thing. Um, but I don't know what. As always, I'm in an eternal quest to try to find a Modern deck that I like, that I'm close to having the cards to.
Yes.
So, what do you think?
So last Friday, I actually played Modern, and I brought out one of the. I mean, really, minus a few subtle changes, it's pretty much the same deck as it was in Theros, and it's mono black devotion.
Yeah, you told me you were really excited to play that.
Yeah, I ended up taking third. I lost one round, and because tiebreakers, I took third. Uh, but it was one of the dudes that I played against Pack Rat, so he didn't kill it,
Well, to be
and
fair,
then
Packrat
he
can be a
proceeded.
tough card to deal with.
Yeah.
So
uh, so he saw it and he's like, okay, and I'm like, do you want to read this? And I made sure that I said, do you want to read this? He's like, okay. So he reads it, lets it live. And so I figure, all right, he's got a fatal push in his hand. He has a lightning bolt. He has a path. He has something.
he's got both.
Yeah.
He'll need both.
Uh, and then he didn't answer it. So I was like, swing into one. He's like, okay. I'm like, all right, pass turn. Didn't do anything. Turn 3, as a pack rat player does.
That's right. Take
At
the
the end of
turn
his
off to
turn,
protect your Packrat.
yeah. At the end of his turn, I made another pack rat, as you do. And then my turn 4, I swung in for 4, did nothing. His turn, I just kept making him. He's like, oh, I should have killed this when I had the chance. And I'm like, yeah, you should have. But
I did everything I could to convince you to.
I tried to help. Um, but no, I have the 4 Demigod of Revenge in there, and I have main board. I have 15 discard spells, which, I mean, yeah, it seems like a lot, but later on in the game, they're pack rat fodder.
That's right. Well, that makes me wonder. Could you just play like not really 8 rack, but almost 8 rack plus pack rats? Is there something else
Yeah.
that's like similar in the sense that you like discard a card and make a useful token? Not really, right?
Kind of. Uh, Zombie infestation.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Zombie infestation and pack rats, and then everything else is just like a strip your hand card
Yeah.
and removal spells. That could be good.
Could.
Curious.
Or I could just do what I'm and discard Gray Merchant and then bring it back with Whip of Erebos because people forgot that was a card.
I'm a big fan of Whip of Erebos. I play one in my Eldrazi-tron
Mm-hmm.
because people forget about it, and you're like, I will fireball you for 5 with lifelink and trample.
Yeah.
Eat it. So actually, I guess before we get too far down the road, there's a deck I've been looking at that kind of is along that similar lines of the old pack rat mono black deck in standard ish.
Okay.
It is red, white, black. So
Mardu.
no. Sorry, white, blue, black.
Esper.
Esper. Thank you, Esper. So this thing runs like Baby Jace, single Snapcaster, Osmodad, Elish Norn, Gristlebrand, Iona, Shield of Imra. 2 Lilianas of the Veil. Fatal Push, some hand disruption in Inquisition and Thoughtseize, Collective Brutality, a little bit of removal in. I thought there was one more there. Oh, 2 Path Exiles and 2 Fatal Push. But it mainly runs the Gift Ungivens package for Goryo's Vengeance and Unburial Rites.
Okay.
So you, with Baby Jace, obviously you can flashback those spells, right, and or discard the spells,
Right.
or whatever. So I think you can go ahead with this deck. Go ahead and get your full value gifts. You'd be like Osmodad, Goryo's Vengeance, Unburial Rites, Gristlebrand, and just be like, all right, do you want to put the really good cards in my hand or put them in the graveyard? And they're like, put them in the graveyard. And you're like, cool, tap my Jace, draw a card, discard my, Gristlebrand or whatever, turn my Jace over, flashback my cool spell, and pew. So I don't know. I was thinking about maybe putting this thing together. I have a lot of these cards. The only thing I'm really missing are the lilies.
Good luck.
Well, I think there are 2 at the arena. So.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Or there was 2 at the arena. So, like I said, it does that same thing that Osmodad, Ghost Dad, and like the Whip of Erebos kind of combo kind of work together. So, like Whip of Erebos and Goryo's Vengeance both exile the creature at end of turn. Well, yeah. Osmodad exiles itself. So
right.
It doesn't care what effect exiles it, so you can bring it back many times. So
that's
similar.
So fun.
A lot of fun. So I was thinking about maybe putting this thing together. Of course, if you guys remember from the last time Modern was floating around, I was thinking about building that red-white prism deck. Where basically the idea is that you get a very early Chalice of the Void for 1, like a turn 1 Chalice of the Void for 1. And then you basically play absolutely 0, 1 mana cost spells, and basically just try to lock your opponent out of the games with Chalice of the Voids, Blood Moons, Journey to Nowheres. But this deck list has been updated with the Gideon of the Trials to go with the Gideon Jorah, which I really like. To give a little bit more Gideon protection. So I don't know, but this is one of those, also Blood Moon. So this is one of those decks where go home.
Right.
Which I actually really enjoy. Because a lot of people...
I love shutting people down.
A lot of people just like, why would you play a deck where no one gets to play Magic? I'm like, I'm playing Magic.
Yeah. So that's why I love the Charbelcher deck in Legacy. Because, like...
You either win or you don't.
I'm going to play Magic. Do you have a counterspell to stop me from playing Magic?
That's right.
Because if not, then I guess 18 goblins, turn 1.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm on the fence. A lot of the guys around here are super excited for Modern. They're even planning on going to Wichita, I think, next weekend for. It's not even a PPTQ. I think it's just like a regular, like somebody's hosting a modern tournament with
Mm-hmm.
just reasonable prizes. I don't even think they're like great prizes. I just think they're like reasonable prizes. And like 7 people are going. Like I can't get 7 of you to go to a PPTQ, but 7 of you are randomly going to drive 6 hours round trip to play, say, 7 rounds of Magic, and probably go. Maybe if you guys are on the ball, one of you will top 8, so then everyone has to sit there and wait. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on everybody when it comes to modern. I can't stand it. I would like to. I wish I was a bigger fan, but I'm just not. But I did have an interesting thought as we were putting show notes together. I thought I'd run by you, Travis.
Okay.
What do you think about Reckless Fireweaver
I'm game.
and or the enchantment impact trimmers
Okay.
and like 0 converted mana cost dudes, like artifact dudes, or affinity type cards? So the idea would be obviously that you would get a Reckless Fireweaver or an Impact Trimmers into play, drop a ton of
Yeah.
dudes, right?
Right.
And then basically have probably some way to like have these guys do a little bit of damage. Is it Signal Pest, right? Makes all the dudes a little bigger. And of
Yeah,
course
the
you
battle
run,
cry.
yeah, Battle Cry. And you still run your usual like your Affinity-esque package.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It feels like a lot of fun to me to, I don't know, maybe to try to almost like regrow that impact trimmer kind of feel. Like I think they want you to do this in standard. I think they want this, but they don't want it too much. But I don't know. What do you think? Could this be a thing? Should I work on it?
Yes. I love impact trimmers. Um, I'm going a different route with the artifacts though, because
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out if Colossus Fling will work in modern.
Whew. So could you run the old affinity type stuff? Like Tooth of what's its name and Shield of what's its name? I think they both have like affinity for artifacts. But like I think you play it and you can tap it to give target creature like +1 or plus O+1. But I think they both cost like 3. But since they have affinity, you would play them for 0, but they would be 3 casting cost artifacts.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Oh my goodness. It's they're from Mirrodin. Let me hit the gather here while we're talking. But so from the first time around, there were these artifacts with affinity. Can I actually spell affinity in the gather? That's the real question.
A.
I'm in the buttons. Okay, so let's see. Scale of Kisgora. Flash, 3 mana, affinity for artifacts. Tap, target creature gets +0/+1 till end of turn. And then there's the Tooth of the same name. So, like, these could be your Lotus Petals, right? For your Golem? Or, sorry, for your
Right.
Colossus? I don't know. Could be cool.
Yeah. Because I was gonna use I was gonna use Golem's Eye, because that whenever a player casts an artifact, you may gain 1 life.
Right?
So I was gonna play that, and then I was going to play Mycosynth Lattice, which when it comes in or leaves play, you draw a card.
Right.
So that way I have essentially 12 cantrip spells.
Are you going to run? Is like a sorcery, like a Cthulhu Brothers or something? That's totally not the right word.
Nope.
But you like sacrifice an artifact and you get 3/1/1 goblins.
Kadoltha Rebirth.
Boom, that one. See, same thing. Cthulhu Brothers, whatever the hell you said, same card.
Oh
Same
man,
card.
yeah, that was close enough.
So anyway, are you thinking about running like that, maybe? As an alternate way? I mean, sure, it's not a lot. It's not really fast, but sometimes three dudes.
Now, I was still thinking about running a Master of Metal.
Okay, okay. I did see an interesting
Yeah.
deck that had him in it this week.
Yeah, good Tezzeret.
Oh, kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know. There's some real potential, I think, because the Colossus essentially has like weird affinity for some pretty cool stuff. So I don't know. Interesting. You have to tell me how that works, because if this is a deck, that's something that I'd be interested in playing in Modern.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. Because isn't there also like a cheap way for Red to make a copy of a token, or make a token copy till end of turn?
Sure.
I think there is. You can like fling the copy. That'd be so sweet. I don't know. I'm not the biggest Modern player, so I'm not real sure what's the thing. What's the snitch, as they say on Kim Possible.
I've never seen that show.
I used to watch it with I think Aislinn used to like to watch it when she was like 7. So that's right. I watched the Disney Channel when I used to watch my niece. It was pretty good times. That was my job. I ever tell you I was a live-in nanny?
Nope.
I was a live-in nanny before I married my wife. And yeah, that was my job, to sit and watch the kids and like have their cartoons play. Life was rough.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I mean, it's no working at the pizza parlor, making people like trip over themselves with laughter.
That was so funny today.
So actually, that's the end of the magic. But I do want to ask you, what is with you and the flat earther stuff? You seem to be like really hardcore. Like I can't, like sometimes. Do you have a friend who's a flat earther, or?
Nope.
Or just I don't understand it.
It triggers people so hard. And that's why I love it, because it's just like this one thing makes so many people upset that people think that the earth is flat. I don't know why.
Why not?
But damn it, is it funny to troll them.
It's as good as any, right? Like, I've never been to outer space. Can't prove to me it's not flat.
Exactly.
I don't know. Whenever I hear somebody like make some comment or something, I'm like, totally, the earth is flat. I can prove it to you. You got a quarter? They're like, yeah, and I take their quarter and I flick it so it spins real fast, like a circle or like a globe.
Yeah.
I'm like, there you go. See? It just spins really quick. They get mad. But I don't know, like I started watching the video that you posted today, and I wasn't really paying that close of attention. You know, I just like started it and turned the sound on you, whatever. I'm basically completely brain dead. I stayed up not super late, but like till 5 in the morning yesterday morning now, to try to sleep in. And the Cox guy showed up at 10 o'clock, so I got like 4.5 hours of sleep or whatever. And I'm like watching this video, and the guy's talking, and I'm like, what? And I had to watch it like 4 times to figure out what the hell was going on. I'm like, did you really just put pro-flat Earth propaganda on your Facebook? That's the kind of crud that you get if you follow Travis on Facebook. Or Twitter sometimes. But it's not the first time. When I realized that, I was like, Jesus. There must be somebody intentionally he's hitting with this flat Earth stuff. But no, just people in general. Okay. So I don't know. What do you think, Travis? Round Earth, flat Earth?
I don't give a shit. We're all on the back of a giant space turtle.
So I did hear a theory. One of the NASA scientists, I guess, came out this week.
Yeah.
And basically said that all of our existence as we know it is actually a very advanced hologram by aliens.
Sweet.
Are you just dumbfounded, or?
No, I just think I think it's just as ridiculous as the flat Earth. So it's like, I'm not going to give it any sort of
from NASA.
So,
but for science,
Trump is our president. Doesn't mean he's right about stuff.
Oh, all right, everybody. Well, with that, I can't argue with that logic. Not at all. So, samuscribo.com for this and all past episodes of Two Trolls and a Brew. You can, of course, check out the live show or the recording from the live show at youtube.com/samuscribo. You can send us an email. There are no emails this week. Probably the holiday, the 4th of July holiday, probably messed with people. I know it messed me up real bad. This whole thing screwed me up real bad. The number 2 trollsbrew@gmail.com. Of course, you can follow us at Twitter. I am Samus Garobo, SIMIUSGUROBO. And of course, Travis is Turtle Power 319. Currently using the handle Mean Santa. I still feel there's a story there that you're just not telling me.
No, just coworkers at work called me Mean Santa.
So, end of story. All right, gotcha.
Yeah, no, anyway, that's it.
Take it away, Travis. What's your closing thoughts this week? What's the game you want to play? You run the last 5 minutes.
So my closing thoughts, regardless of whether or not you think the Earth is round or flat, just know. Well, Mr. Popo told us that all these squares make a circle, so it is highly possible. But regardless of what you think, just know that you're wrong. Because, as we all know, the flying spaghetti monster modeled us all after his image on a plate of spaghetti. So we're all flat.
Spaghetti ever.
What? Yeah.
Us,
well,
we would be the strangest spaghetti.
No. We're like the Parmesan.
Oh, still pretty oddly shaped Parmesan, don't you think?
And all like, okay, so he's not a really good artist, okay? He doesn't have any fingers to control the pencils. So, it's like a rough interpretation.
Rough interpretation of his shape?
Yeah.
I think I could get a little closer to spaghetti noodles than man shape.
He also didn't have a mirror, so
he's able to create beings and a planet and everything, but he can't figure out what he looks like because he can't make a mirror.
Yeah, humans made mirrors, monster. So
your spaghetti monster's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
Aren't you a Christian?
I am, but not a fan.
Troll on everybody.
Not a fan of spaghetti monsters. Troll on everybody.